Hey guys, look, welcome back to Stack Pack's Clubhouse TV show live on E360 TV. We going all the way in today. Look, today I got a special guest for you guys, right? My brother just pulled up. He know we gonna turn up today. It's gonna be one of those ones where we get into, the music industry, what he's doing, the brands, and I'm gonna ask him some fire questions that you guys gonna be able to pull out and use on your journey too. So welcome back to Stacks Clubhouse. Yo, it's gonna be crazy. I'm telling you, yo, there's gonna be so many guests, so many more people coming. But today, I got my brother King Pharaoh in here with me, and we gonna lay it down, right? Pharaoh, welcome to the show, man. Can you please introduce yourself, man? Thank you for being here. I'm in here popping some Bel Air, doing my thing, man. How you feeling? Thanks for coming on the show. Over to you,
I'm
man.
feeling.
What's up?
What's up, bro? Thank you for having me on your show. Congratulations on episode one, doing big things, milestone, manifesting bigger things. I love it. Love the motivation.
Thank you, my brother. Let's go.
Let's see. So I'm the CEO of Money Records LLC. Some of you already know we are a worldwide distribution company. We distribute to 240 countries, 400 stores. We do the marketing, we do the press, the media, we control it all. We make our artists blow to the top, and we always stand by our artists and what we develop and what we do.
So, Farrah, I heard you say something about, blowing your artists up to the top or, getting them to a top level. Is that something that you can help out, everyone do, or do you pick and choose on, who you decide to spend your time on? Over to you, brother. Let's go.
So, a question like that, what I look for is the artist has to have an actual mindset and they have to be consistent on what they really put their heart and what they want to do with it. Because if an artist or anyone that's trying to be something, they got to have a mindset to understand, comprehend failure, and keep pushing past it. And they got to manifest and stay consistent on it. Because if they can't stay consistent and manifest it and work on it directly, then it's not going to be anywhere. So you got to have a mindset, stay consistent, and only positive vibes, good energy, that type of vibe.
I feel you, Pharaoh. It's like you got to surround yourself with the good people. The good people's going to win. Look, Pharaoh, how you feeling about the music industry nowadays? Have you seen any changes, any turns, anything? Like, what do you like and what do you don't like nowadays, man? Let's have a conversation. What's up, bro?
So, in today's world of how the music and entertainment world is, we kind of went on a little downslope on the type of culture and the message. I mean, back then, like even in 2016, 2018, even 2020, people still put their real heart and their soul into music where they made it with a culture, they made it to connect with the actual viewer of it. In today's world, people only think about the money and just throwing music out there to see what happens with it. And they got to change it. So
I,
that's
I
why.
I agree with that, Pharaoh. Too many people just throwing stuff at the wall to see if it could stick, man. And that's why I love, Money Records because they make sure that they're, pouring into their artists and making sure that their artists get to the next level, man. My next question for you is, Pharaoh, like, how was it growing up, man, getting inside the music industry? How did you manage to handle that at like a young age? Because I know that you got into it when you were young, but how'd you manage all this stuff, man, at a young age?
Well, at a young age, we actually had to make mixtapes and stuff. I was back in fifth or sixth grade in school.
Oh, you
I
took
mean,
it back. You said mixtapes. You took it back.
yeah, back before all these music platforms were actually anything. So I used to go walk to Walgreens or CVS, buy some blank CDs, then go home and burn them on the CD and the old desktop computers. And went to school and used to sell them. That's how we
You
made
was selling
money.
those, Pharaoh? Yo, man, that's something like I was doing too, man. I was getting the CDs and I was getting them out there like that. That's a real hustle, Farrell. They don't know about that. You got to come up off something, man. That's the real hustle. So, Farrell, have you found yourself hustling off music? Have you ever found yourself like, yo, this is something I really want to do, and I got to take it to the next level, and I got to hustle, and this is all I got to do. Do you remember a time like that?
I do, but I used to hustle because I loved writing music. It was a message. I used to put my heart into the music. It was a way for me to vent to myself because, people don't listen. So I put my own words and momentum into music and sounds. And growing up, it used to be for money, but then, money comes after a while, you know? As long as you spread a good message and people can relate to it, they'll always vibe to you no matter how high you go or how low you go. You always have a group of people that will always support your type of music.
Exactly, Farrell. So, Farrell, I want to talk about, I heard you closing some new deals, man. What's this? What's this brand I'm hearing about? This
Oh,
shark
yeah.
brand, this cutthroat brand, man. Talk to me about what this new stuff you got going on, man. Let's get into it.
So I'm sponsoring a brand called Grizzly Blades. Now, Grizzly Blade is a great place where you can actually get handcrafted knives, kitchen knives, everything developed for your hand and technique of how you want to cut things. If you're a hunter, if you like cooking in the kitchen, if you like just having knives that have a actual weight and real stability, then this is the product for you. Grizzly Blades, you gotta go check them out, and you got a cool shirt too, so definitely get some Grizzly
I
Blades.
I love that, Farrah. It's like you never know the opportunities that could come off, just marketing and branding and placing yourself in the right direction. So, yo, my next question for you, Farrah, is how does it feel to help amplify others in the industry you are and in what you're doing? Does it do you feel like some type of greatness when you see, others actually winning from what you've done or help them out with in their journey, man? Over to you.
So when I see people that take their life and change it, a lot of times I'm happy because someone could actually do something different with their lives if it's spreading a positive message or wisdom or even a culture that can actually do good in today's world. It's happy. Some people I work with have took fame and other things and did the wrong with it, and it's disappointing because I thought, it's a mindset. But the people that really just spread wisdom and their growth, and I help be able to produce and, add to the knowledge, then I feel good inside because if I ever fall, I always got people around me that will pick me back up from when I looked up.
You're right, Pharaoh. It's about building those empires, man. Building empires, man. Listen, Pharaoh. So what's up with the new business, man? I heard you dipping into the entrepreneur lane. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur to you? Before I ask you some more questions, what does it mean to be, an entrepreneur? Because I know you done took over the music lane, but what does it mean to be an entrepreneur for you? What does it mean?
Well, being an entrepreneur, I look at a couple key factors. One, I look at all different avenues. I don't just focus on one avenue to make money or to develop in. I look at all different avenues that all relate to a higher circle and brand. And being an entrepreneur, you don't limit yourself. There's no such thing as limitation because the sky is limit. That's why every week I read 1 to 2 books of different types of wisdom, of psychology, microeconomics, things that will help expand my mindset and how I can, produce technology in bigger brands and not make money but develop wealth. And that's an entrepreneur. They don't focus on money. They focus on a wealth. A wealth is when you go to sleep and you make money when you wake up. Money is when you just hustling and just making money. Wealth is a lead to happiness and desire. That's a real entrepreneur. Because a lot of
Ooh.
entrepreneurs, they get addicted to money. They gotta get
Why do
addicted
you
to
think
the
they get
actual
addicted to money, Pharaoh? Why they get addicted to the hustle, man? What's up?
because the sky is the limit. There is no limit. You can wake up one day, I remember waking up, make $100. Other days I'll wake up, make 20, 30 grand. Sky is limit. You start seeing different boundaries. You got to stop looking at the piece of it, and that's an addiction because sooner or later you can make 100,000 a day. You can make 500,000 a day. What's the limit to it, and why is there a limit?
Now you're right, Farrell. And I think, and I like to go in. I like to say there's no limit. There's no limit on nothing you guys can do, especially in the entrepreneur lane. So, Farrell, as an entrepreneur, how many business have you launched so far, bro? Talk to me, bro. What are you doing in this in this lane, bro? How many have you launched? Let's talk about that, man. Let's break it up, man. Let's go. We on the podcast. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. So in 2017, 2018, we had Money Records LLC, which is a record label distribution company. Worked on that market, adapted to having Money Records Marketing LLC on the side, which is pretty much an umbrella to the LLCs, house produce. Then we have EOTW, which is a AI engineering marketing system. And EOTW LLC
That
stands
sounds
for Leap
nuts, Farrell. What
of.
the heck are you doing with that? That sounds like some new technology, man. What is that, man? Talk to me. What's that, brother?
Well, we're developing technology on app development, coding, and actually coding our own AI systems to actually help evolve music careers, real estate, business marketing, rankings, and we're pretty much developing our own app system too.
So you trying to take over the world like Stack Pack Wine. That's what you telling me. You trying to do something like that. You trying to take over and launch apps and development or something like that, right? So my next question for you, Pharaoh, is have you ever worked on an app before, bro? Have you ever developed something like this, man? Because you sound like you got a lot of knowledge in this stuff, man. What's up?
So I actually never used to code until I sat down and started reading books, watching YouTube, and expanding my knowledge until I started using my network and reaching out to the higher tier people to teach me. And that's pretty much anyone can do it. Coding, development, everything it costs no money to learn education. If you can go on Google, you have a smartphone, any type of technology, you can do whatever you want. It's up to you and how patient you are, what's the virtue of your consistency, and just push yourself. Because once you learn it, it's in a memory bank up here. Got a lot of space in there. People don't expand all of it. So,
I I love that, Farrell, because you talking about expanding from another. I love expansion, man. How much have you expanded? Have you expanded in the last couple years that I've known you, bro? You talking about expansion? How much have you expanded?
well, starting with one company back then, we were on Clubhouse, to having five, six other ventures, and then designing your own capital and hedge funds, nonprofits. We have a nonprofit organization in Boston called Positive Mindsets Inc., and that is for mental health. So if people are feeling low, it's pretty much a nonprofit to help support them, where they can be talked to and help levitate them to higher energy, to developing apps or creating and marketing clubs, yachts, exotic cars. The sky was the limit. Networks is something that you build up a big empire on. It's like the ancient times, ancient Egypt. They have that pyramid. At the top is the highest tier, and that's networks. It's not about the levels, it's about the relationships, it's about your net worth, your asset, and who you are and what you developed and established.
Yo, I told you I had a special guest. Farrell came in here to knock this over, right? And if you guys, right, I need you guys to listen to this commercial real quick because if you guys want to become a guest on my show or the podcast, I need you guys to listen to this ad. Farrell, we going all the way in. Listen up. Listen, I told y'all I had a special guest in the building. I'm playing my beat. Yo, Farrell, does this beat sound familiar? Do you remember this from Stack Pack Volume 1 or something? What this sound like, Farrell? This sound familiar, bruh? So, Farrell, what do you remember about releasing Stack Pack Volume 1, bro? You remember when I released that, bro? How what come on, man. You remember
I,
that? It's
of
epic.
course I remember. It was like it was yesterday, even though it was like 6 years ago or 5 years ago. It was like it was yesterday. It
Uh-huh.
does. Stack used to sit there, develop and engineer these high tier beats. He used to make 5, 6 beats a day. And he'll send me 1,000 folders in my email saying, "Yo, Farrah, check out this one. This one's it."
Yeah. You know what it is, Barrow? It's like I had to stay consistent on it, bro. Like if I wanted something to happen or I wanted something to shake, I had to stay consistent. My next question for you is, before you started doing what you was doing, how much time and how consistent were you doing, these journeys or this task, bro? Let's get into it.
I took day and night on some songs. I used to write music that never came out, but I wrote it out. I used to write pages and pages. I was dedicated weeks in, weeks out. I used to skip school just to write songs. I used to make music videos, I think, when I was in sixth grade and post them on YouTube and
You
get
said
thousands of views
sixth
on them.
grade. You was making mute. Yo, listen,
No,
Farrell.
I'm
What
only
did you say,
25.
bro? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I must have been, what, 11, 12 years old? I'm 25
11,
now. About,
12.
yeah, like 12. Yeah.
So you was causing ruckus, making music videos. Okay, so how was those going for you as you started, developing your skills? What was one of the first music videos you remember?
Um, Cash. I think it was Cash. Or
Cash.
New
Ooh.
Cool. New Cool was it actually.
New cool. New cool.
But what I realized is the older I got, the more I look back on the songs and I just try to get better from the last because we all are never good at what we want to do. But it takes practice and dedication. It takes a lot
I
of
agree.
dedication.
I agree with that, Farrell. I definitely agree with that. This gets me to my next question. How do you what does collaboration mean to you? Because I know that me and you, we collaborated off rip when we met each other, but what does collaboration mean to you, brother? Let's get into it.
Collaboration is pretty much two people putting value together and creating a success story from it. If you're going to collaborate on a business or capital venture, even being a mentor in some type of way, that is a collaboration because you guys evolve each other. When you collaborate, you want to be able to evolve, grow, and advance.
I
That's
love
what I
that,
believe
Farrell. I
in.
love I love being able to advance, man. I don't want to stay in the same place I was at yesterday. That's why I love teaming up with so many brands. That's why I love having my special friends come on in you know. My next question for you, Farrell, is what is something that you always had the time to reflect on? Have you ever took time to reflect on how far you came on your journey? Like, yo, I could just, dang, I came far. I could reflect. I could think. Have you ever had time like that?
Yeah, whenever I ever thought of giving up or failure, I would think about where I was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, from being from certain places to seeing a lot of the world. I mean, driving from Texas, Miami, Los Angeles, just seeing the whole foundation of it, different cultures. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to done that if I didn't, reflect on the lower part of my life. I lost everything at one point, and I was rock bottom. But you know what you have to do is if you did it once, you just got to put your mindset to it and believe, and you got to keep going. There's no such thing as staying down. If you stay down, you got to get back up. That's what Rocky Balboa does. He got hit down, he got back up, and that's what we do. Because that's the point of growing and building yourself is you got to go through pain, and you got to go through the mental and the physical in order to know how strong you really can be and how strong you are to keep getting back up so nothing can hold you down.
Nothing could hold you down. I feel you, Farrell. You don't want nothing to hold y'all down, especially on this journey. There's too many opportunities, too many people to meet, and too many great things going on. My next question for you, Farrell, is how? When did you realize this was it for you? It was like a moment when you was like, you know what? This is all I'm doing. I'm diving in, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Do you remember a time like that at all?
2017, 2018, I got tired of, just being where I was at. And I had to take everything. I had to risk it all. I had my family telling me to give it up. I had everyone around me saying it'll never work, I'll never be successful. But then when I started doing big things and people looking at articles and you're traveling and being with certain people, they always come to say, hey, I supported you. But at the
That's what
beginning, you're never
that's
going to
that
get
fake
support.
love, Farrell. They always say they support you when you get to another level, man. That's that fake love.
Yes, it is.
My next question for you, Farrell, is have you ever had to deal with fake love, man? Because you know we're in the industry. Have you ever had to deal with that? How do you maneuver that? You know, the fake love. Do you care? Do you brush it off? Talk about it, man. Let's go.
A couple of years ago, I wouldn't be able to brush it off. I would lose my temper. But as years go on, I admit my failures and how I react to certain things. But reacting to certain things, I learned how to accept them and proceed them in a different manner. I used to be a hot lid is what they say. Like, when you're boiling, yeah. And I learned to read, meditate a lot, breathe a lot. Like, actually just breathe, meditate, and think
A
it
lot of y'all
through.
gotta breathe a lot. Y'all hear Pharaoh start breathing. They
Yeah,
gotta
gotta
start
breathe.
breathing, Pharaoh. Let them breathe.
Gotta breathe. They gotta comprehend. They gotta accept it. Because no matter how they react, anger always leads to a more negative approach on things. But if you're positive, it doesn't bother anything. It will never bother you because you just don't care about the situation. You're doing your thing and you're developing your own route in your own way. A lot of people aren't going to be there to say, hey, it's okay, and people don't know what you go through. But that's why you got to accept it yourself and just keep going. That's anger. Anger is something that is like can make you overreact on energy that doesn't have to be wasted.
You're right. You're right, Pharaoh. Look, I told you I had a special guest in here. He was gonna fire up the podcast. Welcome to Stack Pack's Clubhouse. If you guys are just watching, like I've King Pharaoh been in here going crazy. My brother, we've been just chopping it up about everything, music, entrepreneurship, and I want you guys to come on here on the show with me too, so we can chop it up. But Pharaoh, I got a couple more questions for you, man. Is like, have you ever had to deal with stress during any entrepreneurships or any journeys, or and how you go about that? Because I know you talk about meditation, and I see some of your stories talk about meditation, motivation. But how do you deal with stress on this journey, man?
Well, dealing with stress is a big test in life. I remember when I drove to Miami just in my car with no money in my pocket. That put a lot of stress. Sometimes you don't know where you're sleeping at night. Sometimes you're sleeping in a car. Sometimes you find money to get a hotel. But the moral of it is stress. If you realize life is just full of tests, like it's just test
It's
after
all
test.
test, Pharaoh. It ain't nothing but test, bro.
All you gotta do is go through this test one or two times in your
Yeah,
life. And once you accept the test and you've gone through it, it's no longer a test. So you accept life and you accept the value of life. You don't care about money. You can have money, you can be broke, but it would never affect you mentally or physically. And that's when you actually accept life for what it is and be happy on who's there for you, who's around you, and just know you're doing it for your family. If you don't have family, then you're doing it for the people that you care about and that you have your own family. That's what motivates all of us to keep pushing. So when you think you're in a stressful situation, look at how a lot of other countries are right now with the war, with hunger, and all this other stuff. Life could be much worse. People got to understand it could be a lot worse. So be happy where you are today. You could be homeless, but being homeless is just a value. Like you can make yourself not homeless. It's called a hustle. You go on the street, you collect cans, you save that money, you start buying an apartment. You start investing into your own crypto or markets. You can get a flip phone for free. It all takes a mindset, consistency, and you got to manifest it. Don't let these people drain your energy. Just push for it because stress, it's only a test. Once you accept stress, you'll be successful.
Y'all heard Pharaoh. He said stress is only a test. Stress is only a test. Because look, life puts us through so much stuff sometimes, yeah. And it's gonna see if you a soldier. Are you gonna pass this test? Are you gonna be able to survive? But if it, man, Pharaoh, it's my last question for you, man. What is something that you'll always remember in the music industry that you always done? Like, what's something that you're like, all right, I'll always remember this and I'll always be proud of it. And then, we're gonna talk about your social medias and where everybody can find you. But what's something you've done and you were like, man, I'll never forget this.
Well, I met a lot of great people in the way up. I realized if I haven't met certain people in this life, I'm happy I met them. And I would have never met them if I didn't take the risk. I met some very valuable people that changed my life, that mentored me. And that's what I'm honestly thankful for. It's not the cars, it's not the money, it's the people. The most valuable thing was the people I got to meet, the memories that were made, and the friends that were made into family.
And I feel like that's the most important thing too, Farrah, man. We made new family. Farrah's my family. Look, we came up here and burnt y'all up. Farrah, can you tell me where to find you at on Instagram and your social media websites and they want to tap in with you, man, after the show. What if they want to tap in with you and get with you off the show and say, man, I want to rush over there to get with Farrah?
Sure. So my social media, my Instagram is King Pharaoh Real. That's KingPharaohReal. You can go tap that follow button. I'm always open for DMs, always collaborate, see what we can do. If you need any help, you can reach out to me. You got Stacks over here. We've been working together for a long time, very long time.
Uh, Forever, Farrah. You know what it is. Look, I appreciate you guys for listening to the Stack Pack Clubhouse TV show live on E360 Network. I can't wait for more guests to come. Look, Farrell came in here, man. He gonna be coming up here again, and we're gonna be having some more fun. But self-made, shout outs to the Bottle Boy, shout outs to Bel Air, shout outs to the Stack Pack Wine, shout outs to the whole crew, shout outs to the gang, shout outs to Threat Denim, shout outs to all the new deals we got closing, shout outs to Money Records, shout outs to the whole crew.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, and shout outs to who's that, Pharaoh? That's Grizzly.
Grizzly Blades.
Shout outs to the
Grizzly Blades right
Grizzlies.
here.
Come on, man. Shout out to the whole crew and shout out to everybody that's gonna continue to watch us trailblaze because we ain't done. I appreciate everybody that's watched this episode on Stack Pack's Clubhouse TV show, and we gonna keep going. Pharaoh, I appreciate you, brother. Any last words before we get up out of here?
Yeah. Stay motivated, stay consistent, good vibes, positive energy, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
Appreciate that, Pharaoh. Look, man, we gonna be winding up out of here. It was a great conversation. Stack Pack's TV show.